Happy Valentine's Day to all of you that observe. In honor of one of the more divisive holidays of the year, I figured it'd be a great time to talk about an episode of the Proud Family that, through the power of love, always makes me cry. This is a really important episode to me, and I think this episode's existence is really important for the future of animation as a whole, so I'd love to tell you about why I love this episode and what it potentially means for the future of animation and representation. The Proud Family was always one of my favorite shows growing up. It's a great blend of comedy and sweet morals, great, authentic, diverse characters, and with a beautiful art style too. So I want to talk about an episode from the 2022 reboot, Proud Family Louder and Prouder, that just always gets me and brings a tear to my eye. So let's get into the episode. This episode starts with Penny's dad, Oscar, asking his friend Felix to co-sign his loan for a Proud Snack amusement park he's trying to launch, but Felix refuses. Felix complains about how his wife is spending a bit too much time with her new coworker Barry, and how she's been much happier and constantly talks about Barry.
Come on, Felix, relax. What has Barry got that you don't have?
The jealousy Felix has for Barry's charm and good looks is only compounded when Barry reveals he has backstage passes to the Pink Eye concert happening that night for all the kids, and that his two kids, their new classmates, Maya and KG, will be going to the concert too. I guess Pink Eye is supposed to be like the Billie Eilish of the show. It's just a really nice detail and quality though. I love that the concert is fleshed out enough that they all wear pink eye patches as merch. Also, look at how Maya cheers here. It's pretty funny. If you're not familiar with this reboot and are confused to who these two characters are, I should quickly mention this is Maya and KG. Their family moved into Sticky's old house, and if you're wondering why Sticky isn't there, the creators said they wanted to broaden the cast of characters, while others have speculated it may be difficult to get Orlando Brown to reprise his role of Sticky due to his legal controversies over the past few years or so. The new boy KG acts quite a bit like Sticky. He's chill and really into tech and video games, and his sister Maya is an intelligent, mature activist. I remember seeing a lot of kind of odd tweets when the new characters were announced for the show. People posting Maya's design and saying this was Penny now, or they were concerned about how quote-unquote woke Maya would be. Not to mention all the controversies I read about Michael's new design, like why does he have to be so effeminate now? As if this wasn't always suggested in the original. I read a comment on TikTok while just researching people's thoughts on his design for this video that pointed out that the very first episode of Proud Family literally starts with cheerleader tryouts with the line, "Okay ladies," and Michael. And while there were a lot of ignorant comments, there were also a lot of people defending and praising his new design, celebrating that he's more aligned with his true values. Being the football coach's son, he was always one of the funniest characters in the original to me. Just the concept alone of the scary football coach's son wanting to be a cheerleader, but also being a great athlete, is really entertaining. Like, I'd watch a whole show with him as the main character. So while they're at the concert, we see a man show up and embarrass Maya, and it turns out he's Maya and KG's dad, which confuses Dejanay, since she thought Barry was their dad, which is also true.
Just call me Randall, honey. Just call me Randall.
Sorry, Randall, but I thought Barry over there was the dad. Dejanay! What? I just want to know who's who.
I don't think there's anything really offensive about this, since Dejanay was just wondering and didn't catch on, but Maya is insecure about this and seems to have left the concert upset. Penny warns Dejanay not to post anything about them having two dads on social media, which she does anyways. Bitch. I want to take a quick moment to show all the posts about them having two dads, because some of them are really funny, or pretty fascinating at least. My favorite one is probably, "Go ask your other dad." Like, "Hey dad, can I go out to the party tonight?" Go ask your other dad. There's another comment that says "my new OTP," and oh my god, I haven't heard the term OTP in so long. Still a better love story than you know what? Hey, I'm all here for Twilight jokes in 2023. Pog? They also have the thinking emoji, but whenever I see this style of emoji, especially the thinking emoji, I always think of this one. Am I allowed to show this? So Maya and KG come into school the next day and everyone is laughing at them. Their locker says, "You don't belong here." And I'd like to quickly preface, whenever the Proud Family reboot gets criticized for being too on the nose with their social commentary, I've seen people show this picture from the original where people spray painted "Go back to your own country" on the Muslim family's garage. Like, this almost seems like an allusion to it in a way. So it's safe to say this show has always been one step ahead, and didn't just suddenly become woke all of a sudden too. La Cienega says she doesn't feel bad for the harassment the new kids are getting because she got flack when she first moved to town, and I love this callback to the original.
Hey y'all, it's Flipper!
That shit is still so funny. Oh my god, Michael got her ass. It's such a great callback. I think even to this day, if you mention Proud Family, or specifically La Cienega, people will say, "Oh, the jerk with the big feet." Every time she does something rude, which is like every episode, I think to myself, it's okay, karma got her. Another thing I'd like to point out is I really like how this episode approaches the harassment the family is getting. When Penny asks her friends what's the problem and why does it matter they have two dads, the response from everyone is so genuine and captured so perfectly to me.
Why does it even matter that they have two dads? It's weird. Says who? My dad. Mine too. Mine 3. Well, my dad taught me how to treat people how I want to be treated. I'm gonna go sit with them.
Such a casual, "It's weird. My parents think it's weird." It just feels so authentic and hits so close to home. Like, it doesn't have to be some over-exaggerated reason like, "It goes against our creed. You will destroy our ethics and lifestyle." But just, it's weird. I don't really care if they get harassed because their family is weird. My parents say it's weird too. Penny decides to go sit with them in their time of need, insisting her father taught her to treat others how she wants to be treated, which I really enjoy. But none of her friends will join her except Michael. I really like this tweet pointing out that Zoe wanting to remain politically neutral for her upcoming election is a very interesting call out. Like, my god, this episode just throws punch after punch, and it doesn't stop. Even Dejanay, who outed the family, doesn't help, but she does say this.
Dejanay, since you outed them, I'm good, Penny. Just make sure you don't out me. And give KG my number.
What does this mean, Dejanay? I always think of the line Penny says to try to cheer them up, too. Because she says people are hating that you have two dads, but plenty of them don't have one dad. Or even a mom. But they're both adopted. So Penny really awkwardly ends up insulting them here. I think the joke was pretty funny, but the show also makes this a nice, candid, and insightful moment when KG reveals Maya is especially sensitive regarding their family, and how they're both adopted. So making a joke about other family situations definitely won't cheer them up. I think even if they weren't adopted, Maya wouldn't really appreciate a comment like that, and I think the episode does a nice job showing you can't really fight shade with more shade. So back at home, Oscar says he doesn't want Penny hanging around Maya and KG anymore because they have two dads, but everyone else in the house is mad at Oscar as a result. In a way, I feel like this perfectly captures Oscar's character, since he can be selfish and quick to judge, but you know he tries to be a good influence too. Like, Penny literally says in the last scene, "My dad taught me to treat others the way I want to be treated," and there's something that feels pretty genuine about that advice being from Oscar, although he doesn't follow this advice himself. I do think it's a little odd in a way for Oscar to just be so casually against them without giving much of a specific reason for why, but he's pretty rash at times, so I don't think it's against his typical character or anything. Oscar goes to the bank to try to get the loan for his amusement park, and it turns out Randall, who we saw earlier, is the loan manager. You can see he has a mug that says #1 brother in charge, and Oscar relishes the fact that he's working with another black man. Although Oscar is pretty corny in this scene, it's a great touch to show how much Oscar bonds with him without knowing he's gay, but rather emphasizing the bond they share as two black men, which is a really nice touch to show their common ground.
What kind of brother are you?
The best kind. A brother in charge.
However, this connection shatters quite literally in a sense when Barry walks in, and Oscar discovers Barry, the guy Felix worries is sweeping his wife off her feet, is married to his loan agent, and they're the fathers of the kid Oscar told Penny to avoid. Now, the kiss scene here is really important, I feel, because they show Randall and Barry go in for the kiss, and right before they kiss, it goes to a black screen, and shows them pulling away from the kiss, revealing Oscar watching in shock.
A fruitcake?
This framing of the scene may just be a tasteful edit, especially since they want to highlight Oscar's disgust, but I also think they didn't want to garner controversy by showing a gay kiss on screen. I thought to myself, this is as close as we'll get in the current industry and social climate outside of animation, but it's better than nothing. So Oscar's eyes shatter from the shock at the kiss, and realizing the shock and disgust Oscar has, they decide not to approve his loan. You could say, oh, that's so messed up, Oscar doesn't approve of their lifestyle so they ruin his finance? Well, it's actually established before this, Oscar's credit and finances are pretty shite. He's lied about them all, and the only reason the loan would be approved in the first place is because they're neighbors and their kids go to school together. We cut away to Maya getting harassed by the Gross sisters, and I love the inclusivity of the Gross sisters. They don't harass Maya because she has two dads. Well, they do, but it's more so because she has two dads with jobs, so she's got money. What Maya says to them though, every time I see this scene, my jaw drops.
Ain't got no money to invest in our record label. Don't one of your daddies work at the bank?
Yeah, and the other one's a cop.
Man, we ain't scared of no 5-0.
And I ain't scared of no ashy bullet.
Oh, snap! She used the A word! Somebody's about to die!
Good God, I can't believe she said that. Like, there's just no way. When people would say the Gross sisters are so ashy and that's why they're blue, I thought it was a joke. It sounds like one of those bullshit things, like Ed, Edd, and Eddy have green and purple tongues because the neighborhood is purgatory and they're all actually dead. Hence the tongue colors. Like, what the hell? You know what it also reminds me of? That episode of SpongeBob where he's so tan he becomes bleached white at the end? Is that supposed to be like how insanely ashy they are? That the Gross sisters are blue? Barry pulls up in the cop car just to say hi and ask if there's any trouble, but they don't snitch on the Gross sisters, and they said they're just having fun. I will say, I think the Gross sisters got the biggest glow up in this reboot. Maybe Michael did, but I think their designs look so clean and crisp now, and the heavy texture art style of this show is one of the most gorgeous I've ever seen. Their gradients, the textures on their overalls, their silhouettes, some of the nicest looking designs in the show to me. The neighborhood gets invited to Gumbo Night at Randall and Barry's house, and Oscar doesn't want to go in, but floats into the smell of gumbo like Drake. Oscar apologizes for how he reacted earlier, lamenting that brothers gotta stick together and it's put his water under the bridge. I think it's a fine enough reason to resolve the issue that they gotta stick together, but in some ways I kinda wish Oscar had a little more of a reason to be against them, or to make amends. Like maybe Oscar says to be against them is how he was raised or something, even just, I think it's gross, instead of, I don't like them because I said so. As it is, the story beats of Oscar's character arc are kinda quick in this episode, which is fine, but I think it's interesting to quickly point out. So we start with Oscar trying to get the loan, he tells Penny not to hang around the gay family, he realizes Randall and Barry are gay and is shocked, he shows up to their house and doesn't want to go in, but then he goes in and apologizes. The only thing that could have really happened between these last 2 points is Oscar had gumbo, or seeing everyone have a good time, but hey, food is the quickest way to most people's hearts, so the logic checks out at least for me. It's a nice touch Randall had approved Oscar's loan before they showed up to the house. The reason why Randall approved the loan now is because Penny stuck up for KG and Maya at school, he heard. It's just a really sweet way to wrap up the episode. Like, Oscar prevented himself from getting the loan, but because of how he and Trudy raised Penny, he got his loan back in a way. So the last scene of this episode is what always gets me. Oh my god, I've rewatched this episode several times this week while making this video, and every time the song September starts playing, it just brings a stupid tear to my eye. Ignoring the fact Earth, Wind & Fire are one of my favorite groups ever, we see Oscar's eyes, which shattered earlier in the episode, heal themselves through the power of love, as he sees everyone getting together and having a good time. It's kinda like how the Grinch's heart grows in size. The final nail in the coffin for my dry eyes is when Randall and Barry exchange a quick kiss during the song. It's just a quick peck, but when I saw the kiss earlier in the episode, that was more of a silhouette of them kissing, I figured this must be as much as they're allowed to show. But now, later in the episode, actually seeing them kiss fully shown on screen, and in a way to show their love and not showing Oscar's disgust, is so heartwarming. It's not only a sweet scene in the context of the episode, to see the family be themselves with the whole neighborhood over, but I watch and think to myself, the world really is becoming a little more of an open and accepting place, and just seeing this episode on TV TV is proof of this. The depictions of gay characters in animation has always been a big factor of what got me interested and more conscientious of representation in animation. One of my favorite videos on all of YouTube is Jack Saint's videos going over gay depictions in animation, and it really inspired me to want to make videos that praise and bring awareness to when representation and diversity are done well, and when they're done not too well. The Proud Family's creator, Bruce W. Smith, is one of the most impactful animators we have in terms of representation and diversity. He directed Bebe's Kids, which is widely considered the first animated movie to have a majority black cast. And I think what this reboot is doing, exploring a same-sex adopting couple, and Michael's big appearance change, and more outwardly flamboyant appearance and personality, are really big steps in continuing progression in animation. And for that, I'm really thankful. Overall, this is a pretty great episode. I would say it's definitely in my top 5 of any Proud Family episodes, including the original. But yeah, this episode always makes me emotional with how they show genuine love and acceptance, and we see how far we've come as artists, fans, and just people in general, that we can have something like this shown on a network now. I'd love to know what you think of this episode in the comments. Feel free to like the video if you enjoyed it. If you're not subscribed, you should, cause you're chill like that. Enjoy the rest of your Valentine's Day. Much love and peace. I'll talk to you later. Bye.